With his penchant for tense, heavily armed female bodyguards and Ukrainian nurses, Muammar Gaddafi, who has cut a showman-like figure as Libya's leader for more than 40 years, has finally led jubilant National Transitional Council fighters streamed into the heart of Tripoli and crowds to the street to celebrate his collapse that has marked the end of his life. Muammar Gaddafi has died of his wounds after being captured near Sirte. Foreign sources said that he died shortly after National Transitional Council claimed capturing Sirte after weeks of fighting. National Transitional Council military head confirmed that Muammar Gaddafi was killed in a gun battle following the fall of Sirte, one of his stronghold cities. Soon celebratory guns were heard in the heart of the city, which fell into the hands of Libya's new rulers almost 2 full months after Tripoli was captured. Gunfire and car horns were blaring in Tripoli as celebrations started across the country. Despite the fall of Tripoli on August 21st, Gaddafi's loyalists have been putting up a fierce fighting in several areas, including Sirte, preventing Libya's new leader from declaring full victory in the 8-month conflict. The Arab world's longest-serving leader Muammar Gaddafi has maintained tight control in Libya by clamping down on dissidents for decades. But now, after weeks of unrest, followed by the United Nations resolution authorizing a no-fly zone over the country, the veteran leader is killed. Born in 1942 in the coastal area of Sirte to nomadic parents, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi went to school in Seba, then to Benghazi University to study geography, but dropped out to join the army. Gaddafi first entered the world stage in September 1969 when he led junior army officers in toppling King Idris in a bloodless military coup. The aging king had ruled the former Italian colony since independence was gained in 1951. Gaddafi built up the armed forces but also spent billions of dollars of oil income on improving living standards, making him popular with the poor. Inspired by Arab nationalist sentiments, Gaddafi abandoned ties with the Western powers and pursued the aim of uniting Arab countries. Gaddafi's relations with the West, and in particular the United States, became increasingly strained during the early 1980s. Accusation that Gaddafi sent agents to blow up Berlin Club, frequented by the United States Marines in 1986, led to U.S. air raids in Tripoli and Benghazi just days later. The collapsed Libyan leader has not been seen in public since an airstrike hit a house in his compound in Tripoli on May 1st, killing his youngest son Saif al-Arab and 3 grandchildren. At his point of death, Gaddafi swears never to flee his country, even at the point of death. He lived to his vow and let his blood shed at his beloved country Libya. NATO and the U.S. State Department said they cannot confirm the reports of Gaddafi's death. Meanwhile, in Benghazi, crowds gathered in the street to start celebrating the reports of Gaddafi's death as the National Transitional Council hoisted a flag of a new government.